Hello, welcome back. I'll just bring this mic over. Sorry, here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Got to excuse the hair, but it's lockdown, and I've not shaved it off yet. Mind you, I think the day is coming. I'm going to have to shave it all off. Anyway, so a little bit less busy at work today. Working from home, basically. I'm not going out doing any visits, so I thought I'd squeeze in a quick video for you all. But have a look at all of the major ones, like we used to do. And I'll see if I can do this on a more regular basis. So Bitcoin kind of came down to test and to break down beneath where I was expecting. I knew there was going to be a pullback. I thought the pullback would at least test the 6,950. So it broke that, and it's come down to that second level, which is basically the centre of the Bollinger Band here on the daily chart, which is fine. But given the state of affairs with everything else, I mean, oil took a big hit, and obviously the markets are going to be suffering for a prolonged period of time. That said, I do think that Bitcoin wants to come down a little bit further to at least test the bottom of the Bollinger Band, which is going to be around 6,500 at its lowest for the moment. Okay, so I'm actually quite bearish despite the halving event and all of that. So what I'm saying now, okay, so let's put this into context, right? There's likely to be a bounce from where we are right now. That bounce is likely to fail because it will not make a higher high on the daily from our previous high of around about 7,250. It will fail from that area or below that area, probably not reach the top of where this wick is here, I would say. So around 7,200, so there's not much between it. Fail around there if it even gets that high. The green 50 exponential is hovering around about 7,150, so probably I would expect to see a rejection around there. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a bounce around here, but I still think the overall direction actually is down at the moment. But there will be bounces and fake outs and shakeouts along the way because of this whole halving event. People are looking to put their money in. Every time there's a dip, you want to buy more. You want to leverage because the halving is coming around the corner. I don't think that's how it's going to be played out at the moment. I think a lot of people are going to be liquidated playing those kind of moves. I'm all up for the halving. The halving is an event. It will do something. But when we've seen all the halvings that have taken place over the last 12 months or so, they've not done what you expect. What they've done is they've inflated the price leading up to it, up to a year in advance. You saw the way that Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, they were all very strong all last year when they pumped. But when it came to the actual halving itself, nothing materialized. You saw the halving happen with Litecoin, and it went to around about $140 or so. Came up crashing all the way back down. Since the day, probably about half an hour after that halving, basically, it would just continue to go down and down and down and down, and it didn't do anything. All it did was halve in its value and more. Same with Bitcoin Cash. That I mean, the halving was a week or two ago, and you saw a pump on the day, and you not saw any follow through after that. So I think these halving events, for those coins at least, and I know that they're not Bitcoin, haven't worked out very well, but they are quite high market cap coins, and still no follow through. So I'm not too involved in this whole halving event this time round. It's not really something I'm holding a great deal of weight on. I'm not willing to risk capital over TA on it, basically. For me, the TA remains the same. I would expect that the halving event is priced in, which allows for TA to take place. So that's how I'm looking at it. So, look at the state of this bounce. I mean, this bounce is phenomenal. A huge crash and a giant bounce, that to me is a halving event already. That's halving event is priced in, basically, from that level. So, we've bounced from all there. We've come up to this level here where we've topped out again, and just recently we came back down to test this lower level here, 6,450, and bounced up and made a lower high. Now I'm expecting these areas to be taken out. That is just below the Bollinger Band, so like I say, I do think that the areas of around about 6,550 are going to be tested, and when they break down, we will break down again. I do think that 5,000s are going to be seen reasonably soon, and if 5,000s are seen quite soon, low 5,000s could quite easily be seen. I know this sounds crazy because of this halving event and everything, but this is the way it looks to me. Alright, it's a bearish chart. We have death cross on the dailies. Let's have a look on the 12 hourlies to see if there's any clues as to what's going to happen in the very, very short term. So we've got our MACD cross here. There's very little chance unless there's a phenomenal pump, which could obviously happen out of nowhere. We'll look at some of those lower time frames. If there's a phenomenal pump, we're going to come back down beneath the 0 point, and we're going to continue bearish with that. That is still trending beneath all major moving averages on the 12 hourly there. Same with the daily. Let's move to the 4 hourly to see how that's looking. Incoming death cross on the 4 hourly probably will be completed at this state. It will be completed within the next 24 to 48 hours. So that would trigger a downturn with it too. Again, trending beneath all major moving averages on the 4 hourly. Despite a golden cross taking place here, had no follow through. We had a golden cross here with no follow through. These golden crosses don't really count when we have bearish MACDs. Such as this. I mean, it just won't work. You have a MACD that's like this, hyperextended, coming down. There's no chance it's going to bend around, even if we have a golden cross. So, just because exponentials make crosses doesn't make them a technical golden cross. You do have to look at other indicators, such as the RSI was way overextended here at this point, at this level here. So when we came back down, it was coming back down to its normal level. A golden cross couldn't really play out to a large extent here because we're already way overextended there, and the MACD was coming down. So, that wouldn't have played out. So what does this one look like at the moment? So we had a golden cross here, and it's the MACD was still going up. The RSI was reaching quite a high level, but it's failed. And as you see now, the MACD is beneath the 0 point. It's failed. I don't think that golden cross is going to play out. It should have played out by now if it did. So they're the main time frames that I'd like to look at. Something like Bitcoin to make a trade. I did short this. I've closed my short at the moment because I am expecting a little bit of a bounce, and I'll see how far that bounce takes us and see because the only thing that's going for it now on the 4 hourly is the RSI is quite low, and if it can turn itself around, which it could do, I might pick some more up depending on where the MACD is and the RSI is at the state of that pump. If it were to happen, like I say, my overall direction is down on this one. I'm kind of more interested in picking up another short from a level of around about 7,150 or so. That's where I would do it. And by the way, I'm not a financial advisor. By the way, this isn't financial advice. This is my thoughts, my take on what's going to happen, what I'll be looking to do, if these sort of play out. So, that being Bitcoin, I would expect, like I say, on a short term, medium term, and reasonably long term, we're going to come down. We look at the MACD here, about to make a negative cross. It's still in bullish territory, ever so slightly, only just, but it does look like it wants to fall down and collapse in the next few days. So that's not looking very good. So everything on every time frame to me looks like it wants to be brought back down again. My targets would be eventually down to 6,000, bounce from 6,000, failing to make a higher high, and then staggering our way down into the 5,000s, and then seeing how we are leading into May, which isn't far away now, where the halving event will take place. Maybe go long at that point until the actual halving itself. As soon as that halving's taken place, take all profit. Maybe short, probably will. But we'll see where we are. We're getting closer to it. So we'll have a look at Ethereum now. So Ethereum is looking okay. Again, very similar situation to that of Bitcoin, apart from the fact that the RSI and the MACD still look reasonably healthy on the daily. Let's move it to a 12 hourly, see what that looks like on a 12 hourly. Not quite so good. So this also wants to come down. Let's move it to a 4 hourly too. 4 hourly looks pretty gone as well. So unless there's a pump out of nowhere, this one also wants to come down. I would expect that when this one does come down, we'll be coming down to areas such as $140 for Ethereum when this one pipes down again. We're above the green 50, which is good. I think what I really have to say about Ethereum, and you know that I love Ethereum. I mainly trade with Ethereum. Really, I rarely would. At the moment, I'm not really interested in buying much other than Ethereum, Binance Coin, and Bitcoin. Let's have a quick sip of tea. Hang on. I am technically at work, so this is my break. So I need a tea. So. What I'm saying is that it's a stronger coin than Bitcoin. It's trending with Bitcoin. All cryptocurrencies, major ones, are trending together. There's not much else about it than that. So Bitcoin is the one to look at and then decide where you want to go from there. However, what I would say is that now that we've kind of reached our local top, Ethereum probably going to come back down to test that $140 area. But if it doesn't, because it's unlike Bitcoin in the way that it has made recent highs in compared to Bitcoin, which its most recent high was not as high as its previous one just over here. So it's more bullish than Bitcoin, definitely. But it's trending with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin wants to take a dive. I think Ethereum is likely to take a dive with it. So I'll be leaving this one alone, waiting for that drop. And if I were to buy it back, I'd buy it back when Bitcoin reaches around 6,500, 6,600, and I'd be very careful with it just in case. Matic, we have to look at Matic because this is generally where a lot of us on this channel have made our money. We do love Matic, but at the moment it's more bearish than bullish. And as far as the chart's concerned, let's have a look. We're beneath all major moving averages. The MACD is, even though it tried to reaccumulate, it's about to fail. It's beneath the 0 point already. So when this one takes a tumble, it's gonna take a real tumble. So I would leave this one alone. I don't see how this one's gonna make any magical Matic moves as yet. I'd stay away from it if I were you. It's not for me at the moment. I do like Matic, but for me, it's not for me at the moment. If you can see the state of the chart now that we zoom back and have a look at it, we're all getting excited when this happened. We sold here, didn't we? Most of us, those who follow me, I know that most of us sold right at the top, and we were being very cautious around these levels. And quite rightly, to be honest with you, because this wasn't enough time for it to reaccumulate. It tried, and it did do some pumps, but it's now look at the state of it. It's basically trying to reaccumulate at lower levels, and these lower levels below 1 cent, they're uncharted territory for me. It's not really an area where I'm looking to get in, because we're basically lower than we should be. Even at the level where we are right now, we can reaccumulate around above 1 cent. But if Bitcoin does come back down into the 5,000s, Matic's going to be coming down below 1 cent. And even though it's tempting to buy it below 1 cent, what's the chances of it pumping above 1 or 2 cent anytime soon? It's going to struggle. It's really going to struggle. So I'd leave that one alone if I were you. We'll wait till some serious TA kicks in on that one, which won't be for a while. Chainlink, what a beast. An absolute rare beast of a coin. I mean, absolute rare beauty of a coin. It's bullish still. I would say that this is the strongest chart in crypto. Definitely the strongest chart in crypto. What I'm gonna say, however, is basically, look at it. It's amazing. It's lovely. We're above all major moving averages on the daily. We never formed a death cross, despite the whole thing falling in on itself. It's avoided 2 death crosses during this whole period. Even after its parabolic run up here, it avoided the death cross here. It avoided the death cross here. It's strong. It's very, very strong. It wants to come back down a little bit now, but I honestly think that the chain is just going to carry on over time to make higher highs and higher lows. Difficult to chart it at the moment because I am expecting a big pullback across the board, and after the halving event, I think crypto is going to take a big knock as well. But generally speaking, this coin is unusual. It's different to all the others without question. We've got crosses on the Ichimoku cloud, like I say, above all major moving averages. Let's move to lower time frames to see if there's any reason to believe that it's going to collapse. Again, no sign of a death cross. This is a nice golden cross taking place here. Let's have a look at the state of the MACD and things like that. Well, actually, it kind of goes against the grain, really. Look, So we're way overextended here. This is where I would have wanted to sell if I would have had it. I would have sold around here, despite this golden cross taking place. Inevitably going to happen. I probably would have sold here because we would have been so overextended. But look, we got continuation of that golden cross. At the moment, though, we're coming down and we're about to go beneath the 0 point. So I would wait for this to retest certain lower levels, maybe $3. But we'll wait and see. Like I say, we're all at the mercy of Bitcoin. But if there is a coin out there, this is one of those coins. What an absolute beauty of a chart. Strength to strength, I'd say, with this one. Yeah, absolutely amazing chart. XRP. So let's have a look what's going on with XRP. So interestingly enough, see this descending trend that we've got here on the daily. Let's see how this measures up and see if anything interesting is going to take place soon. So it looks as though, I mean, I've not measured this out very well. I've not looked at it for a while, so let's have a quick peep at this. This is going to be very rough because it's a because it's a 2-year it was a 2-year descending trend, so that we're looking at it here on a weekly. Just need to extend that a little further. We'll have it there. So let's have a look at what's going on with it. Right, let's go to a daily. So, if you remember when we traded this recently, we traded it off the back of this break-in. We broke that and we traded it and we made a nice amount of money quite quickly. Because this descending trend has been going on for 2 years, there's a consolidation trend, being rejected from it every single time. We broke above it, it was an easy trade to make, we were rejected here, we were given another chance to sell, where most of us did at the 34-cent margin. And we took that and we were hoping for a retest bounce on here. Every time it came down to test this level, I did buy it back, and then it broke. And I was like, well, it's broken now. The trend has broken, so unfortunately that failed. But even at these low levels, the descending trend is fast approaching. We're looking to come back to test the top of it. If we test the top of it and break above it, I would expect a bit of a run with XRP. You know, it doesn't have halvings and things like that, so it doesn't have any of that to worry about. It just has TA, really. An enormous circulating supply, which has obviously kept the value of it extremely low and continuing to get lower and lower and lower. Well, what I would say is that over the next couple of months, really, unless we go back down to 10-cent levels, there's a chance that we will start knocking our head on this descending trend, and then maybe we could look to buy it. We're in this cloud at the moment. Once we get out of this cloud, we're talking about mid-May, I think we might be looking for some time to buy XRP. But for the moment, we're stuck beneath the trend again. So long as we're underneath this trend, I'm not bothered. I don't really want to trade it. Getting above here and being supported above here and staying above there, I am actually quite interested. But for the moment, that's where we stand with XRP. Being beneath this descending trend here, this 2-year, coming on to perhaps almost 3 years now, consolidation trend. It's a no trader for me. I'm not really interested in it. You can buy it and you can hold it, but there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees with anything, but there's less chance to be excited when you're beneath it than when you're above it. Let's face it. And finally, we'll look at Binance Coin, shall we? So Binance Coin, one of my favourites. I do love this coin. So we recovered very well from back down here, $6.3. Daily looks to me just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, ready to come back down to lower levels. Let's look at the 4-hourly, see how that looks. So still stronger than Bitcoin in its chart on it, but this is a big fall now. So we're coming down to test the 200 exponential, bouncing from here. So this is where I would expect to see a little bit of a bounce around this level, $14.7. But I think with the fast approaching moving averages all facing down now, quite steep, I think the likelihood is that these will cross and we will come down with it. MACD looks pretty bad here on the 4-hourly. Let's have a look at the 12-hourly. 12-hourly is not too bad, but we do have that cross and the 0 point's not too far away. So I think for the rest of the week, basically, I think we're going to see some downtrends. Now, obviously, all of this can change. because if Bitcoin out of the blue decides to pump, and like I say, I am expecting a bit of a bounce right now. That bounce could take place any minute, and that bounce taking us up to 7,150 or 7,250 at its very tops before it's rejected. We need to see if that gets broken. If it bounces and it breaks above those levels, then great. Then that will be good for all of these coins. Every single one of them will be good for them because they're all trending in the same way. Crypto as a whole is generally trending together right now, but the chart tells me that the overall direction over the medium term, so I'm talking about a week to 2 weeks or so, is down. So what I am doing right now is I've sold my shorts, I've sold all my stocks, I've sold everything. I'm waiting for it to come down. I'm prepared to miss the bounce, that's fine. I'm looking to reallocate a short at those levels. If, and only if, some of these indicators suggest that that's good, and that what I'm saying by that is I would like to see a negative cross on the MACD beneath the 0 point on the daily with Bitcoin. That's what I'd like to see, or at least on the 12 hourly, which I'm sure we're going to get. But on the daily, I'd be more interested in seeing it on the daily, and that would be for me a good indication to start to short these if a bounce takes place. And the bounces, depending on where we are in the next couple of days, shouldn't take us any further than 7,250. I would expect a rejection at that level or just before, within around about $100. Now obviously people are looking to FOMO in, so there's another dynamic to it at the moment. People want to buy Bitcoin because there's a halving event, and there's a lot of people, I'm not going to say they're noobs or whatever, I mean when you look historically back at what happened in halving events, they have been very lucrative. Buy before the halving and it just rockets up. I don't think it's not necessarily the case anymore. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin's finished. I'm just saying the halving event is not going to be the event that it was before. It will cause a pump. It will certainly cause a pump on the day, but it's not going to have much more of a continuation after that. And I'm only saying that based on all the other halving events that have happened with the top cap altcoins of recent. It's not done them any favours. It's essentially been priced in, and within an hour after the actual halving has taken place, it's just been a gradual downwards trend for them. But it's a bit of a sweeping statement, but it's not been as bullish as it was before by any means. In fact, it's not really been bullish at all. All I'm saying is it's been priced in already. Right, so I'm just going to leave it with you there, a bit of a long video. Thanks for watching. I will try to make videos every day again, like I used to. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.